Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Aislinn Kerchaert, and we're so excited. We got to meet her in person this past summer at the Fairy Congress in Salem, and the experience was so powerful as everyone there kind of blew us away. So we're really excited to have her back at the Gaian Congress. And it's fascinating because I don't know if it's appropriate to say you channel the Kontomblé, but the energy for those of us who work more in the Celtic kind of traditions, it's quite different. And so can you tell us a little bit, just who are the Kontomblé? How do
Sure.
they see themselves?
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for having me, Lindsay. And it really was such a gift to be at the Fairy Congress with you all and have us all experience the energy and frequency of the Kontomblé. It definitely is a different quality of energy than when you first think of, say, the Fae, right, or the fairies. But inside their quality of energy, I think, is a whole spectrum of all of these many nations of little people. So the Kontomblé are a specific nation of little people, and they come from the Dagra tribe in Burkina Faso, West Africa. And their name, Kontomblé, in that language means those who come to the bell, or the ringing of the bell. So when I divine the Kontomblé, I'll ring the bells, and that's my way of calling them in. What I find is a little bit different about them. They can be a bit wily, a bit wild, perhaps a touch more primordial than some of the ways that we've been, I want to say, perhaps even conditioned to think about the lineages of the Fae or the fairies or the little people. And so that's something that they're very interested in being in conversation with us about, because they're very interested in breaking down all the walls that keep this world and the other separate. I know that in the lineages of the Fae, they talk about the tradition of the hedge, right? Or maybe not the tradition, but the legend of the hedge. The hedge is that wall between, this world and the other that keeps the fairies out of touch. So that hedge shows up in whatever lineage you come from, whatever place of the world you're from. There's some version of that wall that has been erected by these, we could say, these forces that want to keep us separate from the beautiful, wild, lovely inheritance of being related to these little people. So the Kontomblé are all about getting us to know that, getting us to remember that, and then inviting us into these, really wild, playful, innovative ways of breaking that down and then birthing something new, visioning something new into the world that can be a expression, an experience of our life where we're walking hand in hand with them. So that's what they're all about. They like to say that they're the MCs at the party, that they have the microphone, and that they're speaking on behalf of many other nations of little people, because there's nations of little people all over the world, as you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. It really is mind expanding to recognize that it really is very helpful to recognize the limitations that, because sometimes you don't know what boxes you're living in until someone comes along and starts to poke holes in them. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in a box. I can maybe now at least recognize that and recognize that, yes, there is more out there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so can you just share a little bit about what the workshop will be?
Yes, what you just said really about the poking the holes in the boxes really paints an excellent portrait of how the Kontomblé's medicine works. Because in the voice divination process, which is what I do with them. I'm a voice diviner, so I'm speaking on behalf of them and bringing their languages through, which is an ancient mother tongue, and then translate that into English. But in that translation process, what happens is that their messages are very compounded. So within, perhaps, if you could even call it a sentence, one sentence or one strand of their language has all of these, it's like a seed bank of all of these messages. And then to translate it, I've got to make it into a rhyme. And it's not even me that's making it into the rhyme, but that's how they guide me. That's how they guide me to translate it. And within that rhyme, they've talked about the technology of rhyme. That rhyme is a technology that allows us to transcend time. That rhyme is it's a technology of the goddess, the ancient goddess religions. And that rhyme is that very thing that can poke holes into those boxes, because all of a sudden we're hearing one or two sentences, or I'm going to say little strands of rhyme, and it has so many meanings. And we'll go back to it again and again and glean a new meaning. And that's how their divination process works. So in the workshop, I'll be sharing some of these strands or pearls of wisdom from the Kontomblé. I'll be sharing some of these seeds, and usually they'll let me know what they want me to speak about just in the days before, sometimes even in the moment, especially if divining, then I don't know what they're going to say. So in the days leading up to the workshop, excuse me, I'm sure there will be lots of gems and pearls of wisdom that they'll be very eager for me to share with you all in this beautiful Gaian Fairy Congress community.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm having experienced their wisdom and their power and their, it's almost like their strategies. They're strategic in what and how they bring forward too. It's like, okay, we'll give you this little bit, and then poof, you don't realize the power and the, it's amazing how it develops and expands just from, as you say, like a little seed. I mean, it's like a sunflower seed in a way. It's like this tiny little thing, and then poof, you get this huge blossoming.
With
So,
1,000 more seeds.
yes, exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you at the Gaian Congress. So you can sign up at www.gaiancongress.org, and we'll see you there.